You think?
Let's start Ravens.
Let's start Ravens. I
Sure.
like that attitude. The better team gets to go first. Okay, let's do this. The 2021 Baltimore Ravens schedule starts with the Las Vegas Raiders. So we start week 1 at the Death Star. We talked about how I tried getting, or at least looking into tickets about it. Turns out they're like $800 US, and as Chris mentioned, us teachers make a ton of money, so that's why I couldn't afford to go.
Yeah, tried getting versus actually buying is two very different things.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we're starting on the road against the Raiders. That place is going to be jumping, brand new stadium, first team in there. I still think that's an easy win for the Ravens. They start out 1-0. Week 2, they then go to, they go back home to M&T Bank Stadium, and they play a rematch of Lamar's kind of Achilles heel, I guess you would call it. The team that he can't beat, the player that he can't beat. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs go to M&T Bank Stadium. This is why I hate these things. So as a little precursor, I told Chris I don't really want to do this because part of me wants to just be like, this team's going 17-0. There we go. I say they win every game. The realist in me says until you beat a team, if you keep losing to them, I have this one down as a loss. I would love for it to be a win, start off 2-0, but until they beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, I have to give them their first loss of the season there. They then go to Detroit to play the new Lions. They might get a kneecap bitten off or two, but in the end, they're going to win with 1, 2, or no kneecaps involved. So that puts us up to 2-1. We then go on the road to Mile High Stadium. This is a game I'm actually looking at going to potentially. I don't know. I have them beating Drew Lock and the Denver Broncos. Obviously, things like this change, if Aaron Rodgers goes to Denver, like has been chatted about. So we are at 3-1 for the Ravens. They get to go back home and play a really, really, really underrated Indianapolis Colts team. The problem with this one is this is the game that I feel like was my hardest one to pick. But the defining, the difference, the thing I'm holding my hat on is Carson Wentz sucks. Or at least he did last year, and I have them winning that game. So we're starting off 4-1. We get to host a second game against the LA Chargers. Justin Herbert, he's going to have that beautiful flow coming back. This is a tough one for me. I have them as a loss for this. I think the Chargers getting Derwin James back, their defense is lights out. Herbert is an absolute machine. That's a tough one for me. You got to find some losses unless you think they're going 17-0. And again, the realist in me doesn't think they will. So we're up to 4-2. We then host the Cincinnati Bengals. I know our buddy Liam is listening to this. So Liam, here's part of your mailbag question. You get a loss for this one. That was a no-brainer. Joe Burrow has no one on the line. He can try throwing it to Jamar Chase, but best of luck not destroying your knee once again. I have the Bengals losing that one. Then week 8, we have a bye, so I put on there a big win. I think having the bye right in the middle of the schedule, I love it. It's a good time to have the bye to recoup, especially if a couple of those, turn into a couple of losses and you're not sitting as pretty as what you were before. So they go into the bye. Where was it? 5-2, I guess. And then out of the bye, they host Minnesota again. So that's another reason why the bye is big. They stay at home throughout the whole bye. They're not traveling. Again, another really tough one. Minnesota's defense is going to be much improved, especially that front seven. I still have the Ravens winning that one as well. We then travel down to Miami, and I have them beating the Dolphins. That was a tougher one because I always feel like there's an upset game somewhere in the schedule. You know, there's always something you're like, wow, I did not see them losing to that team. And you just never know if Tua takes that big step, that could be a dangerous game. They then travel from Miami to Chicago, and they play the Justin Fields Bears, which QB1 Andy Dalton definitely won't be playing by week 11. He'll be lucky if he gets to play week 1. And a little fun fact about the Ravens, for anyone who doesn't know, John Harbaugh, when he is playing a rookie quarterback, I don't know what the numbers are, but I know he's got a ridiculous win percentage against rookie quarterbacks, no matter who they are. So I have them beating the Bears as well. We're on a bit of a streak here. We then play what I call the toughest part of the schedule. Now, the good news about this for Ravens fans is they are playing the Browns at home for the first game here. I do have them beating the Browns at home in week 12. They then have to travel to Pittsburgh, to Heinz, and they play the Steelers. Now, the Steelers obviously still have a really good defense. They've got so many weapons on the outside. They've added Najee Harris. This is going to be kind of a different Pittsburgh team. Who knows the health of Ben at this point? I actually have them going into Heinz and winning. So the next game, this is why I think this is the toughest part of their schedule. So they play a really tough Browns team. The Steelers games are always tough. Then they have to go to Cleveland right after that. And this is where I have a loss for them because, you've been on the road for 4 of the last 5 now. And so I have them losing to the Browns. They get to come back home to play the Packers. And again, this is all contingent. If Jordan Love is starting this and Aaron Rodgers is not a Green Bay Packer, I have a win. But unfortunately, this is the spot in their schedule. I have back-to-back losses for the Ravens. So I have them losing at home to the Green Bay Packers. They get to relinquish that bad luck by going to Cincinnati and beating up on a bad Bengals team again. So a second win, they sweep the Bengals. They then host the extra game against the Los Angeles Rams at home. So obviously before the new schedule this year, you got 8 on the road, 8 at home. This year they get 9 at home and 8 on the road, and this is the final night game. I have them beating the Rams. This is another one of those swing games where, if Stafford starts to figure it out with his new team, that could be a really tough game. Obviously, the Rams have a ridiculous defense. Stafford is so much better than Jared Goff. So if there was a swing game that could go either way, I think that would be another one of them. And then they end the season against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And just like their previous matchup, I will never pick the Pittsburgh Steelers to win a game. I don't care if my team just came off an 0-17 season versus a 17-0 season. I pick the Ravens to beat the Steelers every single time. So that's a grand total of 13 wins, 4 losses. I'm thinking that's good enough for first in the AFC North. They have a 5-1 divisional record. This is the weird part. When I actually calculated how many home, how many away games they won and lost, according to my predictions, they would have a 7-1 road record, which would be pretty wild, and just to a 6-3 home record. So, that's where I have the Ravens this year, 13-4. What do you have for the Seahawks, Chris? Oh,
So
I just have to interrupt. Terry said go Steelers, and I probably earned that one a little bit. So.
Yeah, that is my uncle, the Steelers fan, who has commented that he A, hates the Ravens, and B, go Steelers.
Yeah,
Which
that's perfect. Like, I don't believe a Steelers fan who says like, yeah, we're cool with the Ravens. No, you're not. We hate you. You hate us. I respect the hell out of that organization, but man, there is no pro sports team that I dislike and actually physically hate more than the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I love it. Keep the Go Steelers stuff going.
Funny story. I also hate the Steelers, but that's again, story for another day. I have alluded to that a few times, and I am still not ready to talk about it. But yeah, so 13-4, you said, hey? So predicting a pretty good season for your Ravens, probably winning their division, or at least battling for that. Probably one of the top 2 seeds in the AFC. Them and the Chiefs. So should be pretty interesting season. I definitely look forward to seeing how that all plays out. Please don't delete whatever you wrote down, because I'll do the same. Let's compare at the end of the year. We both did the same thing with our mock draft, and I really, really sucked on my mock drafts.